Very good morning, children. In yesterday's class, you learned about some of the factors or the materials which are going to influence the process of photosynthesis. So, under subtopics like air and photosynthesis. So, in that, carbon dioxide importance you learned. Then, water and photosynthesis. So, how water is going to help in facilitating the process of photosynthesis. Okay, and some scientist names also you have to remember what you learnt in the previous part of the lesson. In yesterday's class, light and photosynthesis also. So the ultimate energy source from where it is going to be given or it is supplied to the plants was also studied. Is it not, children? So sunlight, that solar energy which we are going to get from the sun, so it is going to help in converting the inorganic compounds like carbon dioxide and water in the structures or in the cell organelles where the process of photosynthesis is going to happen. So that also you have learnt. So in today's class we are going to learn about the another important factor or material needed for the process of photosynthesis. So that is said to be chlorophyll. Chlorophyll and photosynthesis. Chlorophyll and photosynthesis. So you know that chlorophyll. What is chlorophyll? Where it is present of the plant cell. Then which cell organelle is helping in the process of photosynthesis. So all that if we observe, so you have some idea about that chlorophyll, what is chlorophyll and which cell organelle is having chlorophyll, all that. So Indian House, you know, he carried out so many experiments on photosynthesis. So how the process of photosynthesis is happening in plants was conducted, many experiments were conducted by Ingenhousz. He proposed, what he said, John Ingenhousz, he said that the green parts of the plants are able to prepare the process food by the process of photosynthesis. John Ingenhousz, what he said means, he said that the green parts of the plant are helping in preparing the food by the process of photosynthesis. But are you observing that only green parts are present in plants? No. So suppose if we observe some of the plants, is it not, children? Like croton plants you can take, or what is that pink colored leaves plants you can observe. Then money plant leaf you can observe. So are the tender plants, when they are arising with the leaves will be in some other color. Is it not, children? So at that time also you are observing the plant is surviving. So how can it be possible? So it has taken a lot of time for the scientists to carry out the process of photosynthesis. Is it clear to you? Suppose if he says that green parts of the plant, that John Ingenhousz, if he says that green parts of the plants are preparing food by the process photosynthesis, then even is it happening for other animals which are said to be in green color, like parrots are green in color, some other snakes are green in color, or like chameleons are green in color. So are they going to perform the process of photosynthesis because they contain green color? So such type of questions, so many questions they got. Apart from that, what I said, the leaves which are in different colors. Is it clear to you? Or the green color fruits, how they are going to be changed to some other color. So all that, so many questions they got, and they got answer for the question. So how the plant is able to prepare the food by the process called photosynthesis. Is it clear to you? Then now John Ingenhousz, whatever he said, it has become the beginning for the other scientists to carry out further experiments on photosynthesis. So in that, in the year 1817, year 1817, scientists Cavendish and Pelleter, Cavendish and Pelleter and Pelleter and Pelleter, what they have done? They have extracted the chlorophyll from the plant. So Cavendish and Pelleter in the year 1817, they extracted the chlorophyll from the green parts of the plant. Chlorophyll. So now we got the point here to some extent. So they failed to tell where is that chlorophyll is present. So chlorophyll was extracted by Cavendish and Pelleter. So what is chlorophyll means here? Chlorophyll is said to be green. It is going to represent a green color. Green color. Is it clear to you? So Cavendish and Pelleter, they extracted chlorophyll from the leaves. Then it is going to represent green color. So you know that green color is present in the leaves. Is it clear to children? So he came to know that the Cavendish and Pelleter came to know that the green parts. So whatever that statement given by John Ingenhousz was it was confirmed that green color is responsible for the process of photosynthesis. But is it correct like children? Means other colored pigments are present. So here chlorophyll is a pigment. Chlorophyll is a pigment. Is it clear to you? What is a pigment, children? Pigment is a chemical substance which is having the capability of absorbing light of a specific wavelength. Is it clear to children? So here the light, when it hits the any object, what are the properties of light? If you recall once, it will be reflected or refracted or absorbed or transmitted light. Is it not, children? So here when the light, solar energy, when it hits the leaves, when it reaches the chloroplast, what is going to happen? It has to be getting absorbed. So that process is happening because of this chlorophyll. Means what? This chlorophyll is a pigment. Pigment chemical. It is a chemical substance which is helping in absorbing the light of specific wavelength. So different wavelengths lights we can observe, like ultraviolet rays, UV rays, then gamma rays, beta rays, all are there, children. So visible light is having 7 colors, Vibgyor colors, rainbow colors are there. Is it clear to you? So all these rainbow colors are having different wavelengths, and the different colors of with different wavelengths are going to be just received or absorbed by this pigment molecules. Is it clear to children? So chlorophyll is a pigment which is helping in absorbing the sunlight. Is it clear to children? Then coming to the next point. So what are the other pigments present? Okay. So now so here what are the other pigments which are present along with chlorophyll? Yesterday also we learnt. So what are those means here? Carotenoids. So now along with chlorophyll there are other pigments, children, like carotenoids, phycobilins, then xanthophyll. So there are so many. For this class this is enough for you. Chlorophyll, carotenoids, phycobilins, then xanthophyll. So they are going to give different colors to the different parts of the plant. So you know that chlorophyll give green color, then carotene, phycobilins, xanthophyll. So different colored pigments. So is there any role of that one? Means yes, it is, children. So if you observe green color parts, so here questions are given, name some parts where you think photosynthesis occur, means obviously leaves you will tell. But in some exemptions, maybe the stems, sometimes they are performing like in desert plants. Is it not, children? The stems of desert plants will be kept in green color and the leaves are totally modified. So the stem is going to perform the process of photosynthesis. Is it not, children? So or sometimes other parts also will be green in color. Is it right to children? So here or you can see some other different colored pigments also. So here all the pigments. So you know that chlorophyll is largely present in leaves. Is it clear to children? So other parts are also chlorophyll is present. Is it clear to you? Then, so all these pigments, what are they going to form? They form as a reaction center. Reaction center. So chlorophyll and along with all other accessory pigments, they are going to form as a site or a place. Okay, children, or center, which we call it as reaction center, where the reactions of photosynthesis are going to be happening. Is it clear to you? Then coming here, Caventou and Pelleter, they extracted chlorophyll, and chlorophyll is present in the leaves, he said, which is giving green color to the plants. So only green color is it present. You are observing the fruits or flowers or vegetables like carrots, if you observe, or pumpkins. So they are in different colors. So how they got the different colors? Means that is because of different pigments. So different pigments, chlorophyll, carotenoids, phycobilins and xanthophyll. So these are the different pigments which are going to give colors, different colors to the different parts of the plant. So it doesn't mean that if other colors are there, it doesn't mean that only chlorophyll is absent like that. So chlorophyll and other accessory pigments are also present in them. Is it clear to children? Then now how they came to know where is the chlorophyll present? So they have to study or not. So for that also they have taken a lot of time. Scientists have taken and they proved that in particular part of the plant, that is in leaves only, more and more, and some other parts the green color pigments are present. So you know that green color pigments, where are they present? In the cell organelle. Cell organelle. What is that cell organelle? That is said to be chloroplasts. Is it clear to you? So chloroplasts are the cell organelles. Okay, cell pods, which you read in 9th class also. So these chloroplasts are the site for photosynthesis. So they are present more and more in number in the leaves, and all other parts are also chloroplasts are present. So who studied about this cell organelle chloroplast in the year 1883? In the year 1883, Julius Van Schaaps. So the Julius Van Schaaps in 1883, when he observed the plant cell, and where he found that green color is present in the one of the cell organelles called chloroplast, and he named them as a chloroplast. So the discovery of chloroplast was given by Julius Van Schaaps in the year 1883. Is it clear to children? Then chloroplasts are the cell organelles which are present in large number and around 40 to 100 in number, which you read the structure in 9th class also, and they are present in large number in this chloroplasts are present. Chloroplasts are present in a large number in green parts of the plants, that is leaves, and apart from that chloroplasts are present in a large number in what kind of tissue. So plant tissues you learned in 9th class or not? So different types of plant tissues you learned, like what are they? First one dermal tissue, then ground tissue, meristematic tissue, then last one is vascular tissue. Like that you learned or not, children? What are they? Meristematic tissue, then ground tissue, dermal tissue, and vascular tissue. So in ground tissue of plants. So where do we observe? Means in different parts ground tissue we are going to observe. 3 different varieties are there again in ground tissue. Parenchyma. Is it not, children? In that parenchyma again aerenchyma, chlorenchyma, water and storage tissue are there. So ground tissue, it contains parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. So like that in the ground tissue, large number of chloroplasts which are said to be the one of the cell organelles present. So that was given by Julius van Schacht in 1883. Is it clear to children? Then coming to the next point here, so we are observing this ground tissue in different parts of the plant, but mostly we are observing in the leaves. Is it clear to you? It doesn't mean that it is not present in roots or stems, not like that. So ground tissue is present in all parts of the plant. So wherever we are observing ground tissue, there large number of chloroplasts are seen. Is it clear to you? Which are said to be the site of photosynthesis. Is it clear to children? So now you know that naturally we are observing different leaves. So you know that leaves are green in color, but some of the leaves are there which are said to be with different colors. Is it not, children? So now can you tell what is the name of this leaf? So it is said to be money plant leaf. Money plant leaf. Can you see here the difference, children? So here yellow, white, some other side green color, like that you are going to observe. So and this is also money plant leaf only. Totally it is changed to yellow color. Is it clear to you? Everyone? Have you seen, children? So these are also different croton species leaves, children. So this is pink in color. Can you see? And here yellow, green. You are going to observe. Is it not, children? So these leaves contain chlorophyll and other pigments also. So you have to understand that even if the leaf is in pink color, it is having the capability of preparing food by the process called photosynthesis. So how can it be possible, children? It is possible because of chloroplasts are also present in these leaves along with the other pigments which are giving color to this. Is it clear to you? So such type of occurring leaves in our surroundings, they are called as variegated leaves. What do we call those leaves? Variegated leaves. So usually you know that leaves are green in color, but you have observed leaves with different colors. Is it not, children? So naturally occurring leaves with chlorophyll and non-chlorophyllous areas which are giving different colors to the leaves. So such type of leaves are called as variegated leaves. So if we test, children, with this, so variegated leaf we can select the like this money plant leaf we can select, and if we boil it in water, and if we put iodine solution, so this portion soon it will turn to blue black color, and this will not. Why? Because it is having more and more percent of some other pigment, yellow color or white color, whereas green parts they have large number of chloroplasts. No? So if chloroplasts are there, chlorophyll will be present. That helps in facilitating the process of photosynthesis. Is it clear to children? So like that here, chlorophyll is very, very important for the process of photosynthesis. Is it clear to you? So chlorophyll is a pigment. It is having the capacity of absorbing light, and chlorophyll along with other accessory pigments like just now I said, no children, xanthophyll, carotenoids, phycobilins, all these they are helping. So that's why these are called as accessory pigments. Chlorophyll along with accessory pigments are helping in facilitating the process of photosynthesis or fixing the solar energy in the chloroplast. So chloroplast is said to be the site of photosynthesis, not other cell organelles. Is it clear to children? Other cell organelles, they are performing different function, whereas cell organelles of plant cell, which is helping in preparing food by the process called photosynthesis, means that is said to be chloroplast. So who studied about chloroplast, children? Julius van Schutz. Okay, so to understand in detail of this chloroplasts, where they are present, rich. So now we have to learn the structure of a leaf. Is it clear to you? Structure of a leaf. You have to learn about the structure of a leaf. Is it clear to you? So structure of leaf, if you want to learn, we have to select the leaf, and thin slices of a leaf we have to cut, and we have to keep it on the glass slide, and we have to observe it under the microscope. Okay. So when we observe it under the microscope, we are going to observe the internal parts. So the study of internal parts of any living organism. So that one we call it as anatomy. What do you mean by anatomy, children? Anatomy is a branch of biology where you are going to learn about the internal structure, okay, of any living organism. So that one we call it as anatomy. So shall we learn the anatomy of a leaf, children? Yes, with the help of a neat label diagram. So you know that different tissues are present in the leaves. So I will show you the leaf again so that you can tell. So the leaf portion, whatever you are observing and whichever is exposed to the sunlight, okay, like this, no, it will be towards sunlight. So that is called as a dorsal face of the leaf or dorsal side of the leaf. If you turn the leaf, the portion whichever is present below that dorsal side is called as a ventral side of the leaf. So here the covering, the tissue, the internal structure, it is not seen here, but if we observe the section of this under the microscope, you can see different tissues. So now the covering dorsal side and ventral side, what do we call, means that is called as a epidermis. So upper side we call it as upper epidermis and lower side we call it as a lower epidermis. So that only I am going to draw now. So now the upper epidermis is covered by a layer of cuticle, we call it as cuticle, and cuticle we are going to observe, and below the cuticle you can see this layer. So cells, you recall, children? So they are rectangular, very much closely arranged. Is it clear to children? Then below these two layers we are going to observe ground tissue like this. Is it clear to you? So how they are arranged also you can tell. They are cylindrical and no spaces, intercellular spaces you are not observing much here. And at the center you are going to observe the vascular bundle. So you know that vascular bundle, what it contains, children? It contains xylem and phloem. Is it not, children? So xylem and phloem will come under vascular tissue. So now we learned the one variety of ground tissue. So now if we observe other type of cells, so now comes our dot. What these dots are going to represent means they are going to represent the number of chloroplasts like. Is it clear to you? Then, so now here also we have to find the large number of chloroplasts. So large number of chloroplasts you are going to observe in the tissue whichever is present in the upper epidermis. Can you guess, children? In the lower epidermis region, the tissue is not having that many number of chloroplasts. Is it not? So what other differences you can find here? What other differences you can find? Arrangement of cells, size, shape of the cells you can observe. Here, shape of the cells. It is different. Okay, now let us learn the parts first. So this is called a cuticle. Cuticle. And this layer, single layer, whatever it is there, it is the upper epidermis. Upper epidermis. And now from here to here, that is one kind of ground tissue, and this is another kind of ground tissue, and I will mention later. And this layer is called lower epidermis. So now these are bean shaped cells which are developed from dermal tissue. What do you call them? They are called as a stomata. Gourd cells. They are gourd cells, and the gap whichever is there, that is called a stomata. Stomata. So now this structure, round structure, circular structure, it is a vascular bundle. Vascular bundle. So you learned vascular tissue. That vascular tissue contains the two different types of cells. One is xylem and other one is phloem. So can you guess, children, what are the functions of xylem and phloem? So xylem helps in, so like this structure I have drawn now. So that is xylem. Is it clear to you? And below whatever you are observing, so that is the phloem. So now these are called xylem and these cells are called phloem. Xylem and phloem. So now this row, what do we call means, it is said to be spongy parenchyma. and this loosely packed cells, it is said to be, palisade parenchyma. So this one is palisade parenchyma, and loosely packed cells are called spongy parenchyma. Together, this palisade parenchyma and spongy parenchyma comes under ground tissue. So we have dermal tissue, these two cells ground tissue, and this one vascular tissue. And you know that green parts of the plants are tender parts of the plants. We know that root tips, shoot tips are wherever the new leaves are arising, the meristematic tissue also will be present. Is it clear to you? So the entire leaf internal structure, so that we are learning in anatomy. So the tissue whichever is enclosed in between the two layers of epidermis which are present in the leaves are called as a mesophyll tissue. Mesophyll tissue. Mesophyll tissue. Is it clear to children? That is found in the leaves. So this layer which are rectangular in shape and a thick cell wall we can observe, that is upper epidermis, and this one is called the lower epidermis. Below the upper epidermis we observe the cells which are in which are arranged in rows and cylindrical with large number of chloroplasts, okay, which we call it as a palisade parenchyma. And in region of lower epidermis, you are observing irregularly arranged cells with less number of chloroplasts, which we call it as spongy parenchyma. So at the center, you are observing a bundle with the different cells. That one we call it as a vascular bundle or vascular cambium, which contains xylem and phloem. Xylem helps in transporting water from roots to the leaves, and phloem helps in transporting food material whichever is prepared by the leaves to the different parts of the plant, like roots, stem, all these are going to be receiving food whichever is prepared by the leaves is happening through phloem tissue. Is it clear to you? Then we are observing here in the lower epidermis, stomata are present, which are openings, children. They are called as stomata, and the stomata are bordered by bean shaped cells. So bean sheath, have you seen, or kidney shaped cells have you seen, children? So they are called as gourd cells. Is it clear to children? Then through stomata only the exchange of gases is going to happen, okay, for the process of facilitating photosynthesis or respiration. The stomata must open and close. So maximum number when the stomata are going to be opening, more and more percentage of carbon dioxide will be reaching the site of chloroplast, and the fixing of that or converting of that carbon present in the carbon dioxide to organic molecule will happen. And through stomata only the oxygen gas whichever is produced, again it will be just released into the atmosphere. Is it clear to children? So this is said to be the structure of a leaf. Structure of a leaf. Is it clear to you? Everyone understood, children?